First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Jimmy Failla is the host of Fox Across America and is on this radio station from noon until 3 o'clock every day. And he's on the line with us right now. Jimmy, good morning.
Yo, Keeler, what's happening, man?
So here's what I wanted to do. And, you know, being someone that's worked in the comedy world and run comedy clubs, and the fact that we're reopening Fat Cats Comedy Club coming up in September, I observe things. And you, of course, are a comedian as well as a radio talk show host, very talented. But the point is, you walk into and people don't get this, how talented you guys are. You'll walk into the 8 o'clock show and watch the show, and then some of the same jokes told exactly the same, it just unbelievably funny. The second time around, it gets done in the 10:30 show. What I find is sometimes you tell us a joke, and we hear that very same. You're trying that joke out on us, and we hear it between noon and 3 o'clock. I love that. Just saying.
Oh, wow. Thanks for that, man.
Yeah.
I'll send you the $20 later. It was just the way I asked you to read it, and you read it perfectly.
Did I deliver?
You know, dare I say 30? I'll send you 30.
Yeah.
My show is very, very, very stream of consciousness.
I know it
I'm sure
is.
you figured it out by now. And it's for that reason. Like sometimes when you're on stage as a comic, this is the parallel between comedy and radio, is you get a good feel after a while for what sounds right coming out of your fat face.
Yes.
And that's the funny thing about doing stand-up in front of a live audience is you know whether or not a joke is going to work when you're about 5 words into it. Like the punchline's coming, but you already know how it's going to go.
Yes.
When you're working on new material, and it's horrifying. The way it works on radio, I think it's so much easier because you have the permission to be making logical points.
Right.
So if you're making a joke that's going nowhere, you could always pull the ripcord. I don't thankfully have to do a lot of that because I have a pretty good gauge at what I'm doing. You know, essentially, I need to stick with this drug dealer is what I'm telling you because it gets
It's working. It's working. Yeah.
Thank you.
Listen, that is really an interesting way of hearing from the perspective of the comedian, of the talk show host. But you're right. If you're in the middle, you got these people staring at you on a Friday night at 10:30, and you decide to get preachy or philosophical or angry about what's going on in the world, and you just start talking about it. All of a sudden, they're like, "Hey, wait a minute! I thought I was supposed to laugh here." But you get, but doing a radio show, if you need to, you know, you can go for the laugh, but you can also go and drive the point home. I love that.
Yeah. Thanks for that, man. I mean, it's my favorite thing about doing this is I can tell you as a guy who drove a taxi for a long time, the best thing we do as radio hosts is we're good co-pilots, you know, during somebody's day. We're company. I always say radio is like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah.
You get in the car one day, you turn the station, you hear a new partner's voice coming out of the speakers, and you've got to decide if you can ride along with that guy and fight crime. So I realized as a cab driver, you know, you need to be a good crime-fighting partner in the car or in the home, wherever you're listening. Oddly enough, most people who are listening to me are actually in prison, so it's a weird analogy. I mean, they're doing life at this point, but you get it. It's like you want to be good company in the car. So that's my favorite thing about doing the gig is that if you can create an atmosphere that gives everybody what's going on in the world, but you give them a good time. You put their vitamins in their applesauce. It's a lot easier to digest those vitamins. So that's always kind of been my strategy.
Yeah.
And the nice thing, and I mean this, is that when you gravitate between being funny and being serious, it also allows you to not know what you're talking about on certain days. Like,
right, if you're not fully versed on an issue.
Yeah, it's like, here's the thing, and I'm aware of this. Like, there's this reconciliation bill going on in Congress.
Yes.
Okay? Nobody wants to hear me do 3 hours on the logistics of passing a bill in Congress. You know, they don't want to hear me talking about reconciliation. They don't want to take financial advice from a guy who invested all his money in blackjack tables at Turning Stone Casino in his 20s. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I know my lane on the radio pretty well, and that's the true superpower. So that's when I have a superpower. It's that I realize I don't have one, so it allows me to be better company.
Yeah, I think that's a great way to put it up in a nutshell. What do you? Are you going to talk about the infrastructure deal today? Because I think that's finally going to pass. They're finally going to get this done.
Yeah, listen, the first portion of the bill, the $1 trillion targeted bill that has bipartisan support, absolutely going to pass because politicians love spending money. You know, I say this a lot. Like politicians in either party, they're like the friend at the bar who wants to send a round of drinks over to that table of girls, but they don't chip in. You know? They're like, oh, we got to get these girls some drinks and go over there. And you do. And now the bill's $84, but they don't have their wallet on them, and you get the bill. You know, They love spending money. It's always a good time. So that'll go through. The second one for the $3.5 trillion, progressive spending spree bill, I think that's going to die. I don't think it'll survive reconciliation, and I don't think it should. I mean, basically what the Democrats are doing is they know they're about to get clobbered in 2022, and any chance of passing this stuff is gone. So they're legislating right now like it's one of those shopping sprees. You remember those old TV shows where they'd give you a shopping cart, you had 5 minutes in a Toys R Us to throw anything you wanted in there?
Yes, I love those.
That's basically the Democrats right now. They've got a shopping cart. They're like, Medicare for all, student loan forgiveness. They're just running through the store.
And the clock is ticking. It's just ticking very quickly. So
that's exactly what's going on. So let's see what they can keep in the cart between now and 2022. I don't have high hopes.
So it is going to be interesting to see how this whole thing plays out. And then think about it for the next, once this infrastructure thing passes, for the next how many years we're going to be dealing with construction delays all over the country.
Oh, I know. You know, it's crazy. Like New York City, where we are down here for the show, you know, driving a car is like a thinly veiled way of going to the dominatrix. You know, you're only doing it because you like poor treatment. You're getting called bad names in traffic. You're getting cut off. The tolls are like $22. That's all it is. You go to the Midtown Tunnel now. They put a cigarette out on your face as you cross. But I'm glad we got together. I miss you guys.
It's noon till 3 on WIBX and across the country. Fox Across America, Jimmy Failla. Thank you, man. We appreciate it as always.
You're the man, Keeler. I'll see you soon. Rock and roll.
Thanks so much. Very funny guy, very informative. I do like his show.
This podcast is sponsored by Ramp. Are you the decision maker in your company? Consider this. For the first time in decades, there's a better option for a corporate card and spend management platform. Meet Ramp, the only corporate card and spend management system designed to help you spend less money so you can make more. Most corporate credit cards offer points as incentives, but those points amount to less than their worth in real cash value. Ramp's business cards offer you cash back, real money in your pocket. Plus, you control who spends what with each vendor. And Ramp's software collects and verifies receipts automatically, which means you'll stop wasteful spending and close your books in hours instead of days. Businesses that use Ramp add up to 5% to their bottom line the first year. If you're a decision maker, adding Ramp could be one of the best decisions you've ever made. And now get $250 when you join Ramp for free. Just go to ramp.com/easy. Ramp.com/easy. RAMP.com/easy.
Cards issued by Sutton Bank and Celtic Bank, members FDIC. Terms and conditions apply.